Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Tuesday. Please thank God. I'm beat, guys. I had a long day. It seemed like every day I had time to cut the grass, it was raining. And today the sun came out. I had to go take care of this grass. I'm beat because I had to do it at more than one place. I had to go take care of my mom. So I'm beat. But we here. We're going to get through it tonight. Let's go. Tonight we are taking a look at ticker GM. You might know them better as General Motors. General Motors Company was founded in 1908 by William C. Durant with the first office opening in Flint, Michigan. Now they're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange and have a market value over $70 billion. General Motors is in the automobiles industry in the consumer discretionary sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of General Motors company competitors are Ford, ticker F, Stellantis, ticker STLA, and Tesla, ticker TSLA. We're going to review General Motors Company's earnings, their website, and visit the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put an FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange down in the description. I did not say everything. The New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to these earnings highlights because I finally got everything running real smooth. Click of a button. There you go. General Motors Company, ticker symbol GM, the $71.18 billion company reported its first quarter earnings today. They have a 52-week high of $87.62, which took place on February 4th, and a 52-week low of $44.72 that occurred April 30th, which is a trading range of $42.90, and they closed today at $78.95. General Motors Company earnings report missed on the top line, reporting revenue of $43.62 billion, which was lower than the market expectations of $44.1 billion. But they beat on the bottom line as cost efficiencies, favorable pricing, and a tariff adjustment expanded their margins. EPS was higher than the analyst and market expectations of $2.61 when they reported an adjusted EPS of $3.70. General Motors Company reported a GAAP net income of $2.62 billion, which is lower than the $2.78 billion net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents a decrease of 5.7%. So for the first fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 6% higher than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released before the market opened, followed by an 8:30 a.m. Eastern time conference call. As far as guidance, management raised their profit forecast for the year. They now expect core operating profits for 2026 to land between 13.5 and 15.5 billion, and they've boosted their overall earnings expectations. That 52-week high compared to today's closing of $78.95 represents a decline of 9.9% over a span of approximately 3 months. So if someone invested $1,000 in February at that 52-week high of $87.62, they would be seeing a loss of $98.95. Okay. Ooh, I love when this thing works smooth. Let's talk about how we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? To find those answers, we browse 4 key areas: the homepage for the goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, investor relations for SEC filings and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all the companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go back to General Motors Company's website. Let's go check this out. Let's go check this out. Boom. Bring you over to this screen, put me on it. And we can, yeah, we got them up on the screen. We don't need this ticker right now. So let's put this here. Let's put this here. We can do that one. Okay, so we are on GM's website. Let me zoom in. I want to make sure it's on 150. Zoom out. There we go. So I did something a little different tonight. I had a little bit of time, and like I said, I'm tired, but we're going to make it happen. I know everything at this time because I browsed over the website before we started, so we good. We're not going to spend a whole bunch of time digging around. GM sell vehicles. That's what they do, and they have different brands. So what we want to look at are the different brands so we can know what brands have to do with the company GM as an investment. Okay. I'm just browsing the website real quick. So right now I see Chevrolet. So that's GM. We see Buick. We see GMC and we see Cadillac. Just browsing the homepage. We're actually going to use that link at the top to go specifically to brands. I'm just browsing the website so we can see what's on the homepage. Making a design right there. Look like that's a clay model. So they sell apparel. Okay, we made it to the bottom. So I'm gonna go to the top. Remember, links to these websites are down in the description for your convenience if I'm moving too fast or if it's something you want to look at. So I'm gonna go right here to our brands. Here we go. You know it when you see it. So Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. So I guess they had it on the homepage already. I'm scrolling down. That's Buick. The first one was Chevrolet. That's GMC and Cadillac. I like that. I like the grill on that. I guess that's the 4 brands, guys. I don't see anything different. So we moving real smooth. So we done with that. Now right here, our company. So let's go to About Us. Finding the one starts right here. So they got the Hummer. The Hummer. The Hummer would be Land Rover, wouldn't it? If I'm not mistaken. So they're going to talk about, okay, Obsession, American Drive. We're here to win. It's why we're committed to being a leader in every lane, from creating jobs and growing the economy to solving for safer roads and cleaner energy. I'm looking for something that specifically says purpose, mission, vision, and sometimes they don't do that, or it's going to be over in the career section. So we pretty much done. I just read that first one. Remember, the links are down in the description for your convenience. I'm browsing, looking for what I just said: mission, purpose, or vision. What does it say? Everything. I see passion in there. I don't see vision. I don't see it there. Okay, let's move on. So up here, so I'm glad I went ahead of time because this is very small. Up here in the upper left-hand corner is careers. And this is going to open up a whole another website. So let me bring this over so you can see it. Here you go. Bam. Let me blow this up and get it set up. Do this, put that back before we mess something up. Do this, blow this up, and zoom in. We're going to go to 150. That's 110, 125, 150. Here they go with this AI stuff. Close this chat. Only essential. Care about our privacy. Yeah, right. So anyway, we on the careers page. Let's scroll down and see what we got to offer. There it is. That's the word we're looking for. Our vision. So this is going to be the vision statement. Our vision is a world with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. Links are down in the description. You want to keep reading. And this is a video. So this is who we are. They talk about our people. Inclusion is a big thing at these companies we look at. They talk about their culture. And this, I thought it was going to browse over. I did not expect this to take us somewhere else. So let me see if we can just go back. Yes, we can. Thank gosh. All right, let's keep scrolling down. They talk about the brands again, innovation in action, early careers, looking for the right fit. Now, this is what I thought the arrows did, this right here. So I guess this is the different departments that they will hire people in. View our current teams. So this is the latest job posting, and they have the location. So engineering in Warren, Michigan. Those first two are in Michigan. This says Austin. And I'm gonna show you that later because I seen something where they show a map and they tell you the different locations right here. So these are the different locations that GM has. All of these different places you see up in this list. Okay, we saw that. So if somebody wanted to apply for this, apply to work for GM, they break down how they hire. So right here where it says how we hire, you can go look at that. But I'm interested in looking at the benefits because I want to see how well they take care of their employees. So it was right at the top of the screen. So that was that. So we're going to browse over this and see what their list of benefits are. A workplace that supports your life, not just your job. So U.S. salaried employees, financial well-being, physical well-being. So they're going to break these down of what they offer in different sections. Career growth. So they got career development. So tuition assistance up to $8,000 each calendar year. That was what stood out to me in there. Remember, the links are down in the description for your convenience. So you talk about the culture. So here it is, guided by our purpose, vision, strategy, values, and behaviors. So what we look for, those three words are there: purpose, vision, and values. Community, hourly employees with seniority. Okay, so what they're doing, they're breaking down what you get based off where you are, because I had seen that when we looked at Domino's, I think yesterday. So they said what the benefits were, and they were all the best benefits, and then it has said you had to be this to qualify for those benefits. So on GM, they actually breaking it down into where that employee is. So if they're a salary employee, these are the benefits that they get. If they're hourly employees with seniority, these are the benefits that they get. So you can understand what that means as we browse through this. In this arrow, we can just scroll through this different list, and they have them in 3 different sections. So I think this one had 4. So the salaried had 4. So you got financial well-being, physical, and emotional. So they combined them down here. They put physical and emotional together, but they had them separate up here. That's why I saw 4. Scroll down. Temporary, hourly employees. So they have 3 different tiers, basically, from what I'm seeing. So we found what the benefits were, and they're broken into 3 different categories. Here are some awards that they've won. Okay, now we can go ahead and go to the investors section. Let me see if they have it on here. I don't think so. I know exactly where it is, so I'm not going to waste no time. We're going to close this out. And we're going to go right back over here. Investors is right here at the top of that main page. So I click there. Stock information popped up on a whole nother screen. Let me bring it over so you can see it. Here we go. So here's the website with the stock information. Let me put this back. Put this back and make sure we zoomed in. So that's 150. Okay, we're good. So here's the stock information. GM trades on the New York Stock Exchange. This is their closing price. This was the price change today. They went up by 99 cents. The percentage change was 1.27. I'm scrolling the investor relations page, and then we're going to go to the top, and we're going to look for the stock quote right here. So where it says stock information, we're going to select that. And here's the stock information. So here's the stock quote. Here's the chart that they offer on their website. And here are some more investment tools. Now, the first time I seen this weekly stock chart data thing, so earlier today, we did a market hour where we talked about reading charts. So they say weekly. This would be confusing to somebody because usually weekly represents one candle that has a whole week in it. For some strange reason, sometimes on company websites, they do something like this. These are day candles. So this was Monday and this was Tuesday. Then tomorrow they're going to put April 29th and it'll be 3 candles. So what this does, this resets every week. So when Friday comes, this will be 5 candles in front of you. This is weird. This is something that they do. I don't know why they do that. So I understand it now so I can explain it. And I believe that they do pay dividends, but we'll double check by going over to the ThinkorSwim chart. So let's go over to the main page. We can move on. All right, all right. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders lose critical detail and advanced platform features on a mobile screen. So be advised, trading from a phone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To see every detail, use a full trading platform and watch these streams on a computer or TV. Only use a phone as a last resort. Now let's look at the charts for GM. Oh, I'm loving the fact my stream deck is working tonight. Let's put GM back on the screen. Let's go over there. Boom, we here. Let's put the right disclaimer on the monitor. There we go. And we put the GM ticker. We already got it. We good, guys. We rolling tonight. Okay, I have GM pulled up on the chart. The time frame we are looking at is a 1-year daily chart. Let me take me off the screen. Here is their 52-week low that we talked about earlier. Let me put on my floating data box to make it easier for you to follow along. So when I mouse over that 52-week low candle that represents that day, we can see the date at the top of that box. So that was April 30th, 2025, that low of $44.72. That's when that happened. So we can also see in that data box, you can see GM, that's the ticker. 1 year is the time frame. The candles are 1-day candles and it trades on the New York Stock Exchange. So New York Stock Exchange. So we can see everything in that floating data box. So that was the 52-week low. I'm going to move this over to the 52-week high. The crosshairs is right over it. So we can see that high was $87.62. And that happened on February 4th this year. Yes, it did. So that's what we see there. And currently the stock, let me take the floating data box off. We don't need it. So we can talk about some technicals. The price is trading above this 200. We're looking at a weekly chart, guys. This is a weekly chart. No, it's not. I have this wrong. Let me fix this. This needs to be a day. So a week. We looking at the right time frame, but I don't have my grid set up like that. That's not how I want it. So let me fix this. And this is something we had done earlier. So I want this to be weekly. And we are looking at the market close. I did not save this right. Let me just go up in here and do it this way. That's what the problem is. So go in here. We need a 10-year weekly chart. That's what we're supposed to have here. So let me save this and make sure that this is right. So this is saying days. This is not saying weeks. So it's using the wrong studies here. I need to fix this. So this is going to slow us down. Just bear with me. I need to fix this. Let me see if Pro Market Open has the right labels for the weeks. Please. Nope. So we have the wrong labels on here now. So let me go in here and see if I can find this on a different style. Load style temp. There we go. Now we go here. Volume, cut it on, apply. This is days too, so that's not it. That's not it either. Okay, go to studies. We need to fix this volume label. Okay, so I need to go into my labels and find my weekly. Can you change it in here? No. No. So we need a label volume percentile. Let me put a label, volume percentile, week. Label volume percentile week. There it is. So this is my study that I made. I need to put this one over here. So add selected. Percentile week. That's the one. So we need to remove this one. So I have it over there now. Click apply. All right. I fixed it. So I need to fix this, guys. Bear with me. Somebody that already left the room. I don't blame you. Shoot, I got to fix my chart. I can't have this up here wrong. So let me fix this. So I have the right study there. The average is not up here, so we need to put that on. So I need to go into my settings. I'd rather have this right than try to rush through here and have it wrong. So that's what I'm doing. These labels are different depending on what time frame we're looking at. So since this is a weekly chart and we're not looking at GM, we're looking at the spot right now while I'm fixing it. So let me fix that label and let me put me back on the screen. I'm fixing my labels. This WA is supposed to be weeks above and weeks below. So I could tell I had the wrong labels up here because of this. And we actually worked on this earlier today. Now up here, it's saying days above. So we got the right labels down here because we have weeks, but up here it has days. So we need to fix this up here. So I'm gonna go into my studies and I'm gonna look for that. I need to find out which one this is. So if I hide that, yep, so that's the one I need. So label price percentile, and I need it to be weeks. So I'm gonna go to here and I'm gonna look in this list and type in labels, L-A-B-E-L, label. And I'm looking for label price percentile week. It's right here. So I'm gonna click add selected. And I'm gonna bring it up. And we're gonna take this one off. We don't need this one because that one's wrong. Click apply. And now that's fixed. But now the earnings is out of whack. So let me see if I can put the right order. Earnings, we want that to be behind. Click apply. Okay, good. Now I need to fix this. So I'm gonna save this as, I need to take me off the screen. And I need to get my labels adjusted right. Yeah, I don't mind slowing the show down and fix this to make this right. Because I don't want this to be messed up. I'm gonna have to fix it anyway. So as I'm doing this, you can learn how to use these charts to set this up. This is actually what we did earlier in the market hour. So I need to save this as a style for the week because it was wrong. So we're gonna save style. And we need to save it as the market recap weekly. So save style, market recap weekly. Include patterns and study set. So it'll update them and have them on the right ones. Then I click save. Style already exists. You want to replace it? Yes, I do. So now this is correct. Now it's something else I need to make sure I do while I'm here. This is too far over to the left. So I'm gonna go up into the settings, go over in the time axis and change this to 30. So that's done. Then we're gonna save that style again. Style, save style, include patterns and study set, save. So now I have that right. Now, because this says pro market open, I need to make sure these studies are set to open. So I go in here, that one's not one of them. That one's not one of them. Right here, you see where it says market open? I need this to say yes, because that's the grid that we're on. So click OK. And I'm looking through each one of these to make sure that my study is set to yes if it's asking market open or not. That's all I'm doing. And this is a custom script, so everybody won't have this. But this is what I need for me to be able to do these live streams and for when I do my technical analysis. So I'm making sure this is right. So apply, okay. And now I need to save this again. because now it's, no, I don't. I need to save this grid. So I go up here to this grid, pro market open. We need to save it again. Bring this over so you can see it right here. Pro market open. I'm going to save it. So now I know that's set correctly for the weeks. So now we're going to go over to the daily. Notice how this changed to DA and DB. So there's days above, days below, days above, and days below. Now this should be correct already. I just messed up because I had those labels wrong, and I forgot I used different studies for weeks and days, but we got it fixed. So now let's go to pro market close. We need to make sure we fix that one. So this one is right. So we're going to load the pro market closed grid, and we're going to go to the weekly. This is supposed to be weeks, and this was the days. So I'm going to go here to style, and now we're going to load the market recap weekly. And now those studies should update, which they did. Now we're going to go into the studies, and we're going to verify that these say market open no, because this is for pro market close. So that says no. We're going to check all of them and make sure that they say no if it's asking that question. No. Go here. Check the next one. That's about the week. That's not about the market. And okay, we are set. It's fixed now. Now we're going to pull up GM and we're going to do our technical analysis. We trying to make sure we do this right. That's what we doing. And now we're looking at GM so we can take SPY off the screen. So here's that. Put that label up. We good now. All right. So this is the weekly. No, it's not. We got the labels right, but we don't have the right time frame. So we go right here and we're going to change this to a 10-year weekly. The labels are right, but the time frame was wrong. So now we have the time frame right. I'm going to save this grid again so we can make sure that now we have the time frame right. So go here, pro market closed. I just clicked the wrong thing. Go here. We didn't click save first. That's all. 10-year weekly. Go here, save grid as, pull it over so you can see it right here. Pro market close, saved. Boom. All right, we're good. So now we have our 10-year weekly, and we can just move the grid over to the next one. And this is the 1-year daily. We fixed it. But now we're looking at the SPY. So let's type in GM in the symbol box. And now we all set. Even if we change the time frame, now we're looking at GM. Now we can do our technical analysis. So I'm using the 10-year to find some historic price levels. It looks like this was an all-time high right here for GM at that 87.62, because they haven't been that high, and they haven't in this whole 10 years has never been that high. And the lowest they've been in 10 years was $14.33. So I'm going to use this area right here as a support zone. Even though it's far away from this area, I'm going to just go ahead and put it here. And I'm going to use the edit properties to extend this all the way over. So we're in 2026. So we use this one right here. 2026. And this is going to go all the way to December 18th of 2026 if we leave it like that, which I'm fine with doing because I want that to extend all the way over to the right. Edit properties. It wouldn't go out that far. So 2026, we're going to go to May 1st. We have it selected, click OK, and there it is. It extended all the way over to the right. So that's going to be the support based off of these historic levels, but it's up even higher than that. So this would be the most recent support that I see if we was to go over here and just focus on those weeks. This area right here, you can see for a few weeks, it was using that area as support. So I'm going to draw a zone there. That's going to be my support zone. So that's going to be the recent. And we're looking at the weekly chart. So let's go over to the 1-year daily chart. So we can see now that we've broken it down to daily candles that it was testing that support zone quite a few times. Quite a few times. Now, what I'm looking at right here with what happened with GM today, so we know they had earnings today. They closed right up under this 9-day simple moving average, But what I like about this candle right here is that they recovered. They came all the way down here, and that's why it has the long wick. So today they opened. Let me pull up the floating data box. We might as well do the stock quote now because it's hard to do the technical analysis without explaining this to you. So I'm gonna cut on the floating data box and I'm gonna mouse over it. So they opened today at $78.02. So I'm gonna show you where that is on the candle by using this tool right here for the price level. It's right here. That's the open. So when the candle is green, the body of the candle, when it's green, the open is at the bottom of the body. This red candle, the open is at the top of the body because it closed lower than it opened. So this red candle that I'm looking at right here, the open is at the top of the body, the close is right here at the bottom. So they opened here at $78.02. They came all the way down to $74.78 during the trading session. We can see that in the floating data box, and I just put the price level there. So that was the low. So they recovered throughout the trading session and ended up closing right at that 9-day simple moving average. And then we're going to look at the volume, and we're going to incorporate the volume in the technical analysis. So it was a lot of buying pressure that came in and recovered. So somebody was interested in buying GM today, even when the price came down. They saw it as like an opportunity, and they stepped right in and bought it and pushed it right back up to these levels. And it came right to that 9-day simple moving average. So that's what I'm seeing with the technicals with that. Yes, ma'am, we fixed it. I'll be messing up so much I have to just take a deep breath and get it together. I don't even flip off no more. That's all I can do. Just holler, just scream, and just keep going. Just fail forward. That's what he called it. John C. Maxwell, just fail forward. So we got it going. As far as a recent level of resistance, let me take this floating data box off. We don't need it right now because it's going to make me go crazy. Zoom in. I would say this area right here. This area right here is going to be the resistance that I'm seeing that the price needs to get through. I'm going to use those wicks. So this wick touched that zone and it came right back down. So that's why I'm using the top of that wick. But right here, the bodies were right at the top of that area. I actually can bring that down. So let me look at what that was. The open was 82.40. So I'm gonna go into the edit properties right here, and I'm looking for 82.40. 82.40, click OK. So that's gonna bring the box down a little bit. So I brought it down to the top of that green candle and the top of the red candle as the zone. So because the price is below this area, this is gonna be resistance, and because the candle is above this area, this is gonna be support. So it's trading below the 9-day simple moving average, but it's trading above the 200-day simple moving average, and that's your dashed white line right here. And we talked about the earnings today, and they do pay dividends, and the dividends look like they were consistent at 15 cents. Let me take me off the screen so you can see it. So GM was paying 15 cents. They paid it on June 6, 2025. Then they paid it on September 5th, 2025. They paid 15 cents December 5th. And then March 6th, they paid 18 cents. And it looks like they announced they're going to pay another 18 cents. So the dividends have increased by 3 cents from where they're at right now. And the earnings have been increasing. This was one time that it went down. So the earnings was $2.50. The EPS, the earnings per share, EPS, $2.53. Then it increased $2.80. Then it dropped down, but it didn't drop down that far as like an average. So that's close to that 253, because right here it was 251. But then this earnings they just had, it jumped up dramatically. Now the earnings per share is $3.70. When we look at the last 3 earnings they had, this is a big jump compared to the last highest was $2.80. The closest highest out of the ones we're looking at. And that's a 90-cent jump on top of that one. So that's what we're looking at with GM. So now let's talk about the volume. And I already have me off the screen, and I don't have the GM ticker on the screen. Let's put that back. Okay, now the average volume, but we didn't talk about the volume here. So let me put the floating data box back. So the trading volume for today was 15 million shares of this stock was traded today. And their average trading volume for GM is over here on the labels that we have fixed. 8.8 million is what they usually trade on average. So 15 is almost 2 times what they normally trade. 16, but I'm rounding it. So about 2 times what they normally trade when you compare it to the average. And then yesterday on Monday was just around average, but today it was double. So now when we look at the volume rank percentile, let me put me back on the screen. Out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 13 days had higher trading volume than today. And those buyers stepped in, they wanted it, and they pushed that price right on up, right back to that 9-day simple moving average. All right, so we fixed what was going on with the chart, and we talked about the technicals for GM. So let's go back over here to the main screen. Let's talk about it. So back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, looking for the button. Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description. So I'm looking for the button and it ain't coming up. So let me manually go over here and do it. Like, what links? There it is. All right, I'm gonna say it again because I probably was mumbling all over the place. And if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description, as well as the ticker we have on the screen. Now, let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company in the S&P 500 index. So let's look at that. Let's go back to the charts. Bam. We're not looking at GM no more, so let me take that off the screen. And just talk you through everything we're doing. Put the disclaimer back on the screen for ThinkorSwim, and it's not doing it. It pulled up the, I know why it didn't do it. We're about to fix it right now. Here we go. That's what the problem was. There you go. All right, so we fixed that. Now we're going to go back over to the charts right here in the symbol box. We're going to type in SPY for the SPY. Okay, now if you've been following along, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was concerned about. We are looking at a 1-year daily chart. Okay, now the SPY has been making all-time highs. Let me go to the 10-year weekly. So because of that, there is no historical price levels we can use to find resistance. So if we just zoom in, because I know that looks kind of small, let me zoom in up here, move the chart around so you can see. We are looking at weekly candles now. These are the weekly candles. So this is the candle for this week. So this one candle right here is going to be a combination of Monday and today. So Monday and Tuesday is 2 days worth of candles in this week candle. And right now, it looked like it's struggling with staying above that recent area we drew as support right here. Because today it closed within that zone. So this was the weekly candles. Let's go over to the day chart so we can get a really good view of it. So right here is today's candle. Technical analysis term, the way that look is called a doji. Like right over here, this is doji. The reason why is because it's as if the price didn't even move today. The open and the close are so close to one another that the body of the candle looks flat. Like the open and close between, on this green candle, here's the open, here's the close. It has enough distance to create a body for the candle. When it's super close, it looks like this, when they would call it a spinning top. It looks flat. The body of the candle looks flat when the open and close are really close to one another. So let me just go ahead and pull up the floating data box so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I mouse over today's candle, the open was $711.82 and the close was $711.69. So it's like a 13, what is it, 23? It's like a 23-cent difference. That's why it looks so close. It looked flat. The body of the candle looked flat. But what I'm looking at and what I was concerned about, or what I was trying to pay attention to when we were covering this for the last few days, was that the volume at these highs was really low. And now with the price dropping, the volume is starting to increase. So we're going to talk about that. So more traders are starting to become active. More trades of this ETF is starting to happen as the price is starting to decline. And we're going to talk about that. As far as resistance, we can use that 52-week high of $715.63. We can use that as resistance. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put it. This floating data box drives me crazy when we're not actually using it. It's just all over the place. So let me just put this here. So that's the 715.63. That level is going to be our price that we use as resistance right now. This zone is still support, but the price is smack dab in the middle of that zone. And if you can go back and watch our live streams, we drew that support and resist. We drew that support zone days ago, and it stopped and opened right smack dab in the middle of it. So the SPY is still trading above this 9-day simple moving average, which is this dashed green line, and it's still trading above the 200-day simple moving average. But I'm concerned. From what I'm seeing in the technicals, it's not enough volume behind that price when it's moving in the up direction. I'm seeing the volume increase when it starts to come down. So I would be weary about it. That's what I'm looking at. So let's talk about the volume so you can see what I'm saying. Let's do the ETF quote using the floating data box, and we can talk about what the price did today. So the SPY opened today at $711.82. They had a high of $712.88. They had a low of $709.25, and they closed today at $711.69, which is a trading range of $3.63. When we look at the trading volume, they traded 43 million shares of this ETF today, and I'm rounding it off. So when we go over here and we look at the volume average, what does this ETF usually trade for? And I should have this on the screen, not GM. My apologies, because we are looking at the SPY. Take me off the screen, go over here, and now we're going to look at what the average is. Take the floating data box off right here. So the average volume, trading volume for the SPY is 76 million shares in a trading session. That's what they usually trade on average. So this is still below average, but on Monday, it was even lower. So when they had that 52-week high, it was only 33 million shares traded, and I'm rounding it off. But now as this decrease, like as the price level is dropping, the volume is increasing. So more trades are happening as the price is coming down, and it's smack dab in the middle of that support zone that we drew on the chart. Now let's talk about the volume rank percentile. It's extremely low. It's 3.6%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 9 days had lower volume than today. So it's still low, but it's increasing as the price level is coming down. So that's what I'm concerned about when I'm looking at these levels on this SPY ETF. All right, so we can move on. We did our quick little technical analysis on that. We can go back here. All right, now let's look at today's winners and losers. First, we're going to take a look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. All right, I like to look at the losers first. So let's go back over here to the ThinkorSwim chart. We're going to make sure we got the right labels up and everything. We got our disclaimer up. We can take the SPY off because we're done with that. Let's put the like on the screen. Let's do that for right now. Then we're going to go over to the Market Watch tab. When we go to the Market Watch tab, I have the S&P 500 Watch list already pulled up. And here is the biggest loser. The biggest loser for tonight is ticker ARE. Alexandria Real Estate Equities Incorporated is the biggest loser for today. And they lost 11.3%. Ooh wee. The previous close was $45.56. That's right here, previous close. And they closed today at $40.41. Let's pull up our calculator. So if someone had invested, hypothetically, let's use a different number today. Let's use 500. If somebody invested $500 at that previous closing price and lost that 11.3%, that would be times 11.3, hit the percentage symbol. They would have lost. That is not right. That is not right. What do we do? So $500 times, they would have lost the 11.3%, 11.3. Now I'm confused. Now we do this every night. Now when we do this with 1,000, I usually do the decimal myself. We would negate it. So 1,000 times 11.3, and then we hit the percentage, and then we hit equal. There it is. So that would be what they would lose from the $1,000 investment. So let's try this again. 500 times 11.3 percentage equal. There we go. So it would have lost $56.50. So we're going to negate this, add the $500 back to it, and that's how much they would have left from their investment, $443.50. I told you at the beginning of this show, I'm tired. So we do this every night. And I was like, brain fart. But that's what they would be having left. That's what they would have left from their investment. This is what they would have left from their $500 investment, suffering that 11.3% loss. Now, let's dive over into this company by going over to the Analyze tab. We already have it selected, so we're going to Analyze. We already know what the ticker is, and they are in the real estate sector, okay? Right here, real estate. We're going to go down to the company profile. Let me take me off the screen. We already know the name of the company. We had it on the screen, Alexandria Real Estate Equities Incorporated. Here's their website. The link for the website is in the description. For your convenience, we are behind because I spent all that time fixing the chart, but we're going to speed it up a little bit. So Alexandria Real Estate Equities Incorporated, an S&P 500 company, is a best-in-class, mission-driven life science REIT making a positive and lasting impact on the world. With our founding in 1994, Alexandria pioneered the life science real estate niche. Okay. Let's go over to their website. I'm gonna keep this comment to myself. But while we looking at this, I'm gonna actually look this up so I can make sure I'm not tripping. So we're gonna go over to the biggest loser. We already have them on the screen. Here's their website. So immediately when I pulled this up before we did this stream tonight, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't like their website. The first thing stood out to me. I did not like the website. There's no scroll. Now let me, and I'm not blaming this just on, we don't know how much, matter of fact, we can find out how much money this company is worth. So let's do that right now. Let's look at their market cap based on what the market says. So I'm gonna minimize this screen. We're gonna come back to it and we're gonna go to ThinkorSwim. I mean, not ThinkorSwim. We're gonna go to Yahoo Finance. This is very important. This is an example of how me looking at a website would turn me off about not even me personally not wanting to invest in the company just by looking at the website. So I'm gonna go to Yahoo. I'm gonna go over to finance. And their ticker symbol was ARE. And right here, their market cap is $7 billion. So the market has them valued at $7 billion. Is right here. So the market has them valued at $7 billion. And when we go look at your website, to me, it looked like a $700 website. That's to me. Let me pull them back up. You can't even scroll. So when we looked at the other, well, it's GM, you know, but I mean, all the companies that we looked at, you can scroll on the homepage. This is their homepage. And if I zoom in, this is 100%. Look how small it is. So I got to zoom. This is 150 and it still don't take up the whole page. It starts to distort as soon as you zoom in. You only can scroll now because I zoomed in 150%. So if I'm not mistaken, based off what we read in that description, they might rent space because it's a real estate company. They might rent real estate space to biotech companies. So let me check to see that. That's what I'm doing over here. Now you're not going to be able to see this because I'm going to pull this on a different screen. So I'm going to talk you while I figure this out. I'm just going to ask AI directly. I'm not going to try to read through anything. I'm doing this on a different screen. Let me see if there's something I can have you look at while I'm doing that. Right here where it says about Alexandria, and they are the biggest loser today, by the way. About Alexandria, timeline, meet our team. I'm going to go ahead and click this so you can look at something different. Now, this has a longer scroll than the home page, and I'm going to show you because I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom out, put it back on 100%. So this page does have a little scroll to it. But the home page looked like a sheet of paper. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in because I know this is gonna be hard for you to see. And I'm gonna let you read this while I go over here and ask AI this question. Because I wanna know if they rent space to biotech companies. Question mark. All right, so I'm waiting on that to answer the question over there. So our mission, so here's their mission statement. I like that. I like the fact that they have it listed very clear for you to find. The most trusted brand in life science real estate. Largest high quality asset base clustered in key centers of life science innovation. So Eli Lilly is a really big, let me put me back on the screen. I didn't even know I wasn't up there. Eli Lilly is a very big pharmaceutical company, and they are listed in the S&P 500. So if they're renting space to them, that's a good thing. As far as that's a huge company. So real estate, we own, operate, and develop collaborative mega campus ecosystems in top life science innovation clusters locations in North America. So when I asked, the question was, does ticker R rent space to biotech companies? It says yes. Alexandria Real Estate Equities specifically focuses on the life sciences sector. They are a real estate investment trust, a REIT, R-E-I-T, that develops and leases purpose-built laboratory and office space to biotechnology, pharmaceutical, and agricultural technology companies. All right. So we got that. We seen what we need to see. So we read over that page. So here's the careers. So we're looking for benefits. We're over at the careers page. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Let me know you here. Tuning in from YouTube or Facebook, let me know. So these are the different departments that they have. That's what I'm getting from this. These are some awards they've received. World-class benefits. This is what I like to look for. And I'm already zoomed in 150%, I believe. That's 175. It didn't distort too bad, but now I'm cutting it off. So I'm gonna go down just a little bit. Nope, I'll just take me off the screen. All right, so they talk about the world-class benefits right here. You can read over that. Remember, the links for the websites are down in the description for your convenience. We've already spent a lot of time doing some different things on here. So I'm gonna scroll a little slow so you can read over that. But you can also, like I said, use the links. So these are different locations that they own. These are some big, beautiful buildings. So they rent this space out to those companies. So right here, you can actually read the name of the company on the building, or I can. It says Alexandria Center. That looks like a big, beautiful building. And just because these companies are the biggest losers today does not mean that they're a bad company. The stock price just went down today. Just like other days, a stock could go up. That's not the only indicator that a company could be good or bad just because the price goes up or down. All right, so we looked at the benefits. So now we're going to go over here to for investors. I'm just going to click on the whole thing. Man, they need to work on their website. You got a big building like that. You worth $7 billion and y'all can't put a little money into the website. Come on, man. You gotta do better. Zoom in. 175. Okay. Here's the ticker. They trade on the New York Stock Exchange. Man, this look tacky. It's hurting my eyes. Company overview, financial information. I'm looking for where it says stock quotes. Is it in this list? Stock information. Let's see if this cleans it up a little bit. And it does look like they pay dividends. Now I'm interested to know if they pay monthly or they pay quarterly, because if they're renting this out, most of the time when people pay rent, they pay that monthly. But I don't know nothing about commercial real estate. It might be leases. I don't know. I would have to look into it. So here's the stock quote information. This look crazy. This website looked like it was designed in the 2000s or 90s. Here's the chart. And here are some more tools, investment tools that they have down at the bottom. I'm ready to leave. You see how blurry this is? This is wild. All right. So we're going to leave here. We're going to go back to ThinkorSwim. Put the disclaimer back on the screen. There we go. We have their ticker up. I took the disclaimer off. Here's the disclaimer. Now we're gonna go over to the charts. Ooh, whew, that look nasty. This looks like this 200-day simple movement average, this looks nasty coming down. If the 52-week high was $88.24, what's caught my attention, guys, just in case you're missing it, this 200-day simple movement average looked like it was way higher. So we need to go to the weekly chart to see what's hiding behind this year. And they do not pay dividends monthly. And I can tell because I can see the quarters right here. And this is concerning to me. So the dividends used to be $1.32. I don't see us, and now it's 72. Now it's 72 cents. So the dividends are decreasing. Now, when we looked at the other company, what was that? GM, their dividends was increasing. It went from, oh, help me. If you've been watching, put it in the chat. I think it was something about 15 cents. I think it went from 15 cents to 18 cents. And that may not be much to you. That may you be like, man, it's just 3 cents. It's more. It's more than what you was getting. I'd rather see an increase than a decrease. So their dividends, and I'm blocking it. So let me take me off the screen so you can see it. $1.32, $1.32, 72 cents, 72 cents. So they dropped it. The dividends are decreasing. Now I'm gonna go to the weekly chart so we can see how high this stock used to be and look at the nasty downtrend. So in 2021, right here, sometime in December, that's when they had their highest price level out of the last 10 years. That's what we're looking at. So the candles are weekly candles. And when we go right here, zoom in. So that was December 27, 2021. They were trading, their highest price per share was $224.95. And their dividends, I'm looking at the dividends down here at the bottom, they were increasing. So you see, at least from right here, we're going to start from 2021, okay? So you can see 115, 115, 118, 118, 121, 121, 124, 124, 127. You see how it's increasing? And we just going right across the board. 127, 127, 130, 130, 132, 132, 132, 132, 72, 72. So it's dropped. So as inflation is rising, things are getting more expensive, you cutting dividends. That's concerning to me. And now, is there something that I can see on the chart that would justify the drop in dividends? So what I would look for is a stock split. I don't see a stock split in there. So as far as this technical analysis, we're going to go, this is the, we would have to go back further than 10 years. And I don't do that in my technical analysis. I'm not even about to change this chart. This is extremely low compared to what we're seeing about how much time in the last 10 years it's been trading for higher than $40. Like this, the lowest it's been. Somebody just chimed in. I don't see it over here. I heard something. Let me see this. No, I don't even know what that was. This is crazy. Out of the last 10 years, this is the lowest it's been this week. This week. Today on earnings is the lowest this price ever been in 10 years. And it's trading below the 9-day simple moving average and the 200-day simple moving average. If I was to do technicals, I'm not even going to waste my time doing a zone. I'm just going to do some lines here. So you got resistance at $41.44 and you got resistance at $44.10. And today's low would be the support. So that would be $39.41. This wouldn't, yeah, we can use that. And then right here would be another area that I would look at for resistance. So you got a few different levels you can look at. We can clean this up a little bit. We can take these off. If we took these two off and just use today's low as support, and use the top of this last uptrend. So the long term is downtrend. We definitely recognize that. But this is the last time the trend went up in the wave. So we're using that area as resistance. But it gapped down from Monday to Tuesday. So if we zoom in, this is a technical. This right here is a gap. So it gapped from this. The gap is between yesterday's low and today's high. But the actual gap, like from yesterday's close to today's open, would be those two places, from here to here. So that's what I'm seeing there. So we did the quick technical analysis on this. Let me open up the floating data box, and we're going to go ahead and do the stock quote and talk about the volume. Drag this over a little bit. So ticker R, Alexandria Real Estate Equities Incorporated, opened today at $43.90. They had a high of $44.13. They had a low of $39.41, and they closed today at $40.41, which was a trading range of $4.72. When we look at the trading volume today was 6 million shares of this company was traded today, and usually we see higher volume on or around earnings. So we need to look at what their average trading volume is. Their average trading volume, let me take me off the screen and point to it for you. The average trading volume is 2 million shares in a trading session. That's what they usually trade on average. So if they did 6, this was 3 times what they normally get. Compared to what they usually get, this is 3 times that. And then yesterday was roughly around average. So on Monday, they was around average, even though it was slightly higher. And today was 3 times what they normally get. And now when we look at the volume rank percentile, it was 97.6%. Put me back on the screen. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 6 days had higher trading volume than today. So that was our biggest loser. Let's go over here to Market Watch. Let me take them off the screen. And now we are going to focus on our biggest winner for today. So the winner for today is ticker CNC. And that company would be Centene Corporation. And they had a percentage gain of 13.95%. So the previous close was $43.50, and today they closed at $49.57. So if we did this percentage change, if someone had invested, let's use a different number, and I'm woke now. I'm alert. If someone had invested $200 and they got that 13.95% gain, we hit the percent, we hit equal, they would have gained $27.90. That would be their ROI. That would be on top of the $200 they invested. So we add the principal back to it, which was the $200. So their $200 would have grown to $227.90. All right. So we did that. Now let's move over, select this, and we're going to go to analyze. When we go over here, ticker CNC, they are in the healthcare sector. All right. It's right here. Now I'm going to take me off the screen. We can see the company profile, their website, and the link for the website is down in the description for your convenience. Let's read a little bit of this description. Centene Corporation operates as a managed care company that provides programs and services to underinsured families and commercial organizations in the United States. It operates through 4 segments: Medicaid, Medicare, commercial, and other. That's all I'm going to read. Let's go ahead and go to their website. Now, this is the winner for today. Notice the difference in how these websites look. I haven't even zoomed in yet. Let's see what it does when we zoom in. That was 125. This is 100. And we can scroll. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the other one up so we can see night and day next to each other. So here was the biggest loser. And this is not their home page. So let me go to their home page, home. And then I'm gonna zoom out. So this was their 100%. I was clicking too fast. I didn't move too fast. Zoom in, zoom out, zoom out. This is their home page. That's 100%. This is how it looked before you zoom in. This is how you zoom out. Here's the winner's website for today. That's 100% before we zoom in and before we zoom out. Matter of fact, I had it smaller. Now it's at 100%. So this is 100% and that's 100%. That's night and day. Their website looked like a sheet of paper just to give you contrast next to each other. So now we're looking at Centene Corporation. So let's go ahead and focus on the winner. I just wanted to show you what I was seeing, like why that bothered me so much, so you can see the side-by-side comparison. So who we are, why we're different, those are going to be things we definitely want to look at. They talk about their products and their services, so that's going to let us know about the goods and services that they offer. Here are the careers, and here is the investors. Did we zoom in? No, we didn't, because it's so much bigger than the other one. Now we zoomed in, so that'll make it easier for you guys to see it. Now I'm just gonna scroll down on the home page. They have a video here. Remember, the links for the website are down in your description, are down in the description for your convenience. And I'm talking a little bit faster and moving a little bit faster because we're past 12, and I had those technical difficulties earlier, and we're just gonna go ahead and go through this so we can do the technicals and wrap it up for tonight. So that's why I'm talking a little faster and moving a little bit faster. So let's just go here, who we are, save some time, and just click at the bottom. So here, thank you so much. Our mission. Let's just go ahead and click that. Our mission. So here's their mission statement. Transforming the health of the communities we serve, one person at a time. They give a little bit more details about it, and they talk about how they do it. Focus on the individual, whole health, active local involvement. Have a video here. It's also available on YouTube. Link for their website are down in the description for your convenience, because I told you we're going to be moving a little bit faster. All right, so we see our mission, who we are, why we're different. Go ahead and click that. Okay, why we're different. At Centene, our dedication to serving people is evident in our day-to-day operations. Corporate sustainability in our community. So they talk about the providers and healthcare partners, impacting lives, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now we're gonna go to careers. It looks like it's gonna take us to a different website. It's right down here, but I'm gonna go back to the top because I saw it right here. Good. It didn't take us to a different website. Let's see if it zoomed us out. It did. So we're going to go back to 150. Excuse me. Essentials only. Where careers and communities connect. Okay. Life at Centene. So here it is. Benefits. This is what we like to look for. I'm just scrolling to see if there's anything I'm going to miss because we're moving pretty fast. Okay. Just go right here to benefits and see how they list it out. Benefits at Centene. Okay. Benefits that support life. So they talk about the financial health, personal well-being, work-life balance. I was blocking it. So let me take me off the screen so you can see it. Caregiver, leave and resources, learning and development, tuition reimbursement. And they do adoption reimbursement. So that's something I've seen frequently on these different company websites. Okay. Remember, links for the website are down in the description. You want to look over this a little bit more on your own time. All right. Now we're going to go to, we need to find the investments. Investors relation. I believe we seen that on the home page. That says careers home. Centene Corporation. No, that's not it. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Here it is. Investors. Put me back on the screen. We about to wrap up, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me and tuning in. Right here, New York Stock Exchange. That's where they trade. Here's the ticker symbol. There was the closing price. And here's that same information we looked at earlier. So they went up by $6.07. We already did the math on the percentage change, the 13.95. So they talk about the volume here and their market cap. So this is what I had looked up earlier on the other company, and their market cap was around 7 billion. 7 billion, and this company is around 24 billion. All right. So number one medicated marketplace insurer in the nation. Okay, that's good to know. All right, focus on, we talked about that. Okay, let's see if we can get the stock quotes, like more. Here it is, stock info. So we click that. Here's more details about it. So they talk about the day's range, et cetera, et cetera. I don't see them offering a chart here. Yeah, I don't see a chart. Here it is, right here. Almost missed it. So here's the quote, here's the chart, and then they have historical data. So let's see what their chart looks like. There you go. All right, so let's go back to the ThinkorSwim platform. TOS, disclaimer. CNC is still on the screen. All right, let's go over to the charts. And we are, ooh, I like that. Look how they shot up today. And they had earnings today. Yep. They had earnings today. I'm reading the volume label, and you can't see it because I'm blocking it, and I'm not gonna let you see it yet. You're about to break it down. Oh, look at this nasty gap down. I am gonna take me off the screen because I want you to see this nasty gap over here. Look at this vicious gap down over here. So what was that? That was July 1st. So from July 1st, 2025 to July 2nd, 2025, they had a nasty gap down. So from this candle's low to this candle's high, a lot of people just lost a lot of value overnight between those two price ranges. So it dropped basically from, and not from the bottom, that's just the low. It closed up here. So to be more accurate, it dropped from $56.65 down to the open of this candle, which would have been, I'm going to remove the $37.54. It basically did that overnight. Let me remove this. So it closed here, and overnight it had dropped from $56.65 down to $37.34. So that's from this close to this open, but the gap is from that low to that high. I hope that makes sense. So on the 52-week low, out of the 52-week low is $25.08, and their 52-week high is back here. So what we're going to look at, I'm going to use this trend line tool, and I'm going to connect it to the bottom of that candle, which is that 52-week low, and connect it to the high of today. And I'm going to go in here and edit these properties. I learned how to put this in the middle. It makes it easier for me. So when I mouse over it, it's in the middle. So in a matter of 264 trading days, this in particular company, CNC, had an opportunity for it to go up almost 100%. It says 99.35%. So roughly, if somebody had actually invested in it at this low and got out at today's high, they would almost have received 100% return. So just to put that in perspective, if someone had invested $200, they would have made $200, and that $200 would have grown to $400. That opportunity was here in less than a year. And this is what I mean by looking at the charts. This stuff happens both ways. Stuff go up and stuff go down. In less than a year, you can find some opportunities. I'm going to draw this as a support zone, guys. I'm seeing this as like a zone. I'm going to bring it all the way over. So that's going to be my support zone, even though the price is nowhere near it right now. And it's trading above the 9-day simple moving average, and it's trading above the 200-day simple moving average. And again, we can see how this line is all the way up here. So if we go back to a weekly chart, so this is a 10-year weekly chart. And we can see that at one point over the last 10 years, this stock was trading for $25. And you can't see it because I'm on the screen. They were trading for $25 in 2016. And then that $25 went all the way up to $98.53. So if we use the trend line tool again, we can see how long that would have took and what the percentage gain would have been from that low to that high. So if I mouse over it, I edit these properties. We're going to put this in the middle, and then I'm going to save as default. So I won't have this problem no more. That was the problem. So now when I mouse over this right in the middle, so over a matter of 2,107 days, what the heck is that, right? So we're going to put me on the screen, and I'm going to pull up the calculator so we can find out what is that. Use this tool, Control and the T. Yep. All right. So when I mouse over this, that was 2,107 days. So we put that in 2,107. We're going to divide this by 365. So this will tell us how many years it was. So it was about 5.75 years. It took about 5.75 years to get this return. So now when we mouse over it, that was 294%. So it was almost a 300% return. So remember when we used the $200 investment example earlier, I'm rounding up. So this was 300%. So if somebody had invested $200, that $200 would have turned into $800 because the ROI would have been $600. So I'm gonna do the math so you can see it visually. $200 times 300%. So that would have been 300%. So it's just 200 times 3. Why did this do this? Because we pushed divide. That was a divide instead of a multiply. So let's do it again. 200 times 300. Hit the percent, hit equal. There's the 600. I hit the wrong button. So this is the ROI. Their investment, return on investment, is the 600. The investment that they put in was the principal. So we add the $200 back to it. And this is what I meant by saying it would have grown to $800. So that's that. Let's go back to the 1 year daily chart, and let's focus on finding some support and resistance. So I would say the support, I'm gonna draw it as a zone. So as a zone of support, I would say it would be right here. And I'm basing it off of these candles in this area to say that that would be my most recent support zone I'm looking at. So the price is already trading above it. So if I was going to say it would do a retracement, it would come back down and test this area before it resumed going back up. That's what I'm looking at. So now let's get the stock quote for this and wrap this up. We're about to wrap it up, guys. So we go to floating data box and talk about this. So Centene Corporation opened today at $44.80. They had a high of $49.99. They had a low of $44.22, and they closed today at $49.57, which was a trading range of $5.77. Their trading volume was 17 million shares of this stock was traded today. Now we're going to look at what the volume average is for this stock. Take the floating data box off. All right, so when we look at the average volume, Centene Corporation usually gets roughly 10 million shares traded in a trading session. 9.7 million. So it was definitely above average. It was almost double what they usually get. And then the day before was a little bit under average. So on Monday, it was a little bit below average, and today it was double of what average is. So now when we look at the volume rank percentile, let me put me back on the screen. It was 88.9%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 28 days had higher volume than today. All right. So let's go to the main. We wrapped it up, guys. Thank you so much. You already know. I hope that you learned something. And I hope that you earn something. I'm going to do that one more time. I hope that you learn something. And I hope that you earn something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Today, I did a market hour where I did a market hour live where I went over how to set up charts, styles, and grids on the ThinkorSwim platform. And I have a link to that video down in the description. And make sure you guys tune in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care and God bless.